Good morning. Let me lift this up a little bit. There we go. So when I stand over here, you will see my arms and my legs all together. So another week, huh? Here we are to practice yoga. I find that it's very helpful to me to stay centered, focused, big picture. So today I thought we'd spend a little time with our joints of the wrist and the ankles. And you may or may not have issues with them, but none of us want issues with them. So being able to say, press yourself up from something using your wrist, doing the chaturanga, being on all fours. We may have arthritis, but what I've learned over the years is it may hurt when you do it a bit, but it hurts worse if you don't. So take that under advisement and just do with your body today what you can do with it. We'll be doing a little balance. I feel the need for us to do the standing bow pose to open the hips, front of the hips and the quads, because I walked up the mountain yesterday and ran down the mountain, trotted down the mountain, didn't quite run. Anyway, didn't fall, so that's always good. So if you ever have particular needs, when you want to reach out to me and say, hey, could we work on such and such a body part? And we'll take that under advisement. So let's come to Samasthiti. I have my blanket over there. I have my blocks. I don't know that I'll use the blocks, but always good to have the props that you want. And then for our balance pose, if you have a wall or maybe bring a chair over so if you need to, you can steady yourself. Now I've closed all the doors and hope that the gardeners don't come by and make noise. I have a little background music going on, so hopefully that won't be too loud. Let's come to Samasthiti. So I am sitting in what's called Sukhasana, comfortable pose. If this isn't comfortable, sit in a chair. Sit with your legs placed in another fashion. And then let your body sit but supported. So the base of our torso, Mula Bandha, lifted. Lower belly, drawn in. Heart, lifted up. Shoulders and neck, relaxed. Hands can either lend support to your back by holding onto your legs, or they can float up in a mudra gesture of your choosing. So you might want to lower or close your eyes. Take the attention to your breath. Noticing the length of the breath. Incorporating a fullness through the torso, so that expansion of the body on the inhale, the contraction of the body on the exhale. Visualize your muscles working and responding. Become aware of patterns that your body may fall back to as you sit a few moments longer. So perhaps you may begin to feel that sinking sensation. Perhaps you may begin to feel some tightening in your neck and shoulders. So stay aware of your body's natural tendencies and maybe work to put them into a better form, a mindful form, of lots of support and attention. One more deep breath in, and breathing out. So usually yoga breathing is through the nose, but if you've got any congestion, breathe through your mouth is not a bad thing. Stretch the arms to the sides of your body, lift through the crown of the head, raise the arms as they wish up above, Join the palms together with the hands at the heart. Cultivate the attitude of gratitude, as small as you may see it, as large as you may feel it. Give yourself that internal hug. And then we're going to begin just by warming the hands. As you're warming the hands together, sitting in a fashion or changing how you sit, bring a little warmth into your hands. So while we begin to work on our hands and our wrist, if you feel you need to change your seating position, go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm going to pause and notice that energy that I've created between my hands. And I'm going to keep the palms together and pull one finger back from the other finger. Maybe if I come a little closer to you, you can see my hands better. So one finger going out, then the next finger, next finger, next finger, and then my thumbs part. So just separating your fingers. Relax your shoulders, continue to breathe. It's not so hard. You can play with the order. There's no order. You could go random if random appeals to you. Now take all of the fingers of one hand away from the fingers on the other hand. So the fingers have moved back, but now as it goes back, it also flexes the wrist. Same thing, other hand. Pull the fingers away from the other fingers and then keep backing it up. Spreading your fingers. And then come back up. Lace the fingers if that feels appropriate. If that's too uncomfortable, clasp the hands. Turn the palms inside out with a bend of the fingers. So I'm not locked in here. I'm very soft through my fingers. Drop the shoulders, let the hands move forward of the body. More for the wrists than for the fingers, so I'm not cracking my knuckles. Drop the shoulders, drop in through the belly. Stiffen the elbows, feel the connective tissue. Bring the hands behind the head. Lift up the heart. So a little back extension. Bring the arms forward. Do a little breaststroke motion. Lean forward and re-grab the hands behind. Again, in either way that works out. As you come to sit upright, straighten the elbows, draw the shoulders back, and if possible, raise the hands up off of the back. Just kind of warming up and lubricating. Buddhism breath. Again, you could be doing this from a chair. You could be doing this sitting on your knees. Releasing the arms. Nice and fluffy. Lower your left hand so that it's to the floor or on the side of the chair so you have support for the back. Look to your right hand. Let it slowly rise. Not being anxious to find the end point, just stretching over. How is it feeling this morning? Feeling the opening along the right side of your body. Letting the arm move around in front of you. Sometimes there's a little popping and cracking. Lifting and opening the arms out. Joining the palms back together. Again, we lace the fingers or clasp the hands. Drop the shoulders and press the arms forward. Squeezing the elbows, lifting the spine. Where is your breath? Raising the arms until the hands come behind the head. Hands are right at the back of your head. Lift up your heart. Lots of support for the neck. A slight arch in your back. And release forward. Bring the hands out and a little breaststroke again. Leaning forward as you grab the hands or lace the fingers. Sitting up tall, straightening the elbows, the shoulders move back, perhaps the hands come up off your back. Delight in your breath. Releasing the arms, stretching out to the side, letting the right hand come down, be there for support. Look to the left hand, very mindfully raise it up, laterally lean, explore with mindfulness. How does it feel? Too much? Too little? Stiffen the elbow rather than decorative arm. Embrace your breath. Bringing the arm around in front. Both hands will go behind, so best if you come to the mat if you're not there already and rest back on your hands. How your hands are matters not. Just lean back on your hands. Reposition your feet, and you can stay on your blanket or towel or pillow and have the knees together. Instead of shoulders forward, open up your heart and let those knees drop from side to side. Take as much time as you want or need, or move more quickly if you're feeling a little zippy. Now leave the knees to one side, doesn't matter what side. Look over the opposing shoulder and lift up your heart like someone was pushing your chest outward. Slowly return your head center, the shoulders come forward, drop the other way. As the chest goes up, look off the other way. Slowly return back center. We come to Bandha Konasana, cobbler's pose. Bottom of the feet together. Sit up on your spine, transfer your hands forward. Grab hold. Now likely you're a little rounded as I'm showing, so I want you to use the hands to lengthen the spine, drawing the shoulders down, opening a little more free in your hips. No comparison whether your knees are here or here. So some cats and cows as I turn sideways so you can see the focus would be on the belly as you round back, bowing the head, feeling that nice stretch through your back. And then as if someone were lovingly shoving you between your shoulder blades, lifting the chest up, bringing the heart forward. Now you can look up, not everybody does. And then tighten through the belly. Again, find your own pace. So continue with that cat and cow. Breathing in, breathing out. And then pause in between the two. Let's circle around in the pelvis. So this is the spine moving in the proverbial pelvic bowl. Remain invested in the breath. Change the direction. Moving up the back of the legs, so as you come to sit, again, bring the hands behind, lift up the heart, and stretch your feet outward. Might be best if I sit sideways so you can see. So, hands can be as they need to be. Some of you may not even need hands. You can sit in a staff pose easily. I will say that using a pillow or a blanket can be very helpful for those with tight hamstrings, or feel free to bend the knees a little bit. Rather than having the feet together, they're open and the toes are active. Go ahead, look down at those toes, see if you can spread them apart. They should not be touching one another. And then stretch the toes forward. Now, if you feel this is going to create cramping, you don't have to point the toes, just push through the ball of the foot, or you can point the toes. And then go between the flex as you pull the toes back and apart, and then stretch them forward. Dorsiflexion, using our ankles, involving our toes. And then with your feet out, you want them to go out and inward. This would be from your hips, so turn out, turn in, out and in. Fun with our bodies. Pick a leg of your choosing, grab hold of that leg, maybe lean back a little, then lift up the heart, so rather than sinking and dumping into the low back, you're always engaged through your core. Ankle circles. Now you look at your own ankle and see how much mobility it offers. Can it get in a full clockwise, counterclockwise? Set that foot down, rock back, pick up the other leg, lift up your spine, clockwise. Relax your shoulders, counterclockwise. Again, extend the legs, feet apart, hands behind, sit up tall. Use the hands, lean forward. So I'm rather stiff in the morning. If you do this practice at the end of the day, it's going to feel different. Your body is going to be more responsive. So I want to reach for the toes. Normally I say, please don't do that, because often what happens is this happens to go that way. So to keep my straight spine, I'm going to bend my knees up a little, bring my chest forward as I feel my body begin to touch my thighs. Now I can sustain this with a neutral spine. Go ahead and reach out for the tops of your feet. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Keep your chin up as you look outward, and then pull yourself forward. Now if you can do this with straight legs, wonderful, go ahead. If you want to maybe slide the legs out a little bit, if you can do that. The toes or the feet may want to start turning. This way you're holding them and they won't happen. Now from wherever you are, bow your head, forward fold. Walk yourself up, roll your spine up. Lean back onto your hands. Now for this one, if you can, keep your fingers pointing towards your feet. If not, turn the fingers to the side. So we're going to bend the elbows and straighten the elbows. Not much. Each time the elbows go really, really straight, you can feel things happening all the way down into your hands. Make sure the fingers are all spread. And then we'll do a little for the hip, and then we're going to move over to hands and knees. So bend one knee in, doesn't matter which one. Again, get nice and tall. Bring the heart forward. Bring the hands forward, and again, use that trick of bending the knee if that works for you better. And we're feeling the hip on the knee that's bent. If you could do it with a straight leg, go ahead. Walk yourself back up. We'll switch legs, so as that bent knee goes out and the other knee bends in, wherever is comfortable. Sit up tall, lean forward, reach for your feet, or if it's too far, bend the knee so you can get your foot, and then forward fold. Again, this is primarily for the bent knee hip. Mindfully bring yourself back up, and I say that word a lot because if you come up and then something goes between you, maybe you weren't as attentive as possible. Coming over to our hands and knees, for those of you who have knee sensitivity, you can keep your blanket or towel, or you can just move it off to the side. I won't need mine. I have 2 mats here because I'm on my tile floor. So I'm going to come to the palms, all fours. So palms and knees. And if the palms are not working, if your wrists are just saying, nope, not today, you're going to go to your knuckles, but we're going to work with the wrist. So with palms down, you're going to turn the fingers back to you, one at a time, alternating them. If you're on the fist, you're going to turn your knuckles in and then back, in and then back. So you come on the back of the hand. So from knuckles, turn the back of the hand down and then the back of the hand down. If you're on all fours, turn the back of the hand down with an open palm. So I don't really have weight on the moving hand, but I do try and straighten my elbow. So for those who are on palms, I want you to try and lift each finger. You could do both hands, each finger independent of the other. If you're on knuckles, I want you to take the hand up and just circle the wrist. So if your palms are down, you're going to lift one finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, thumbs. They don't lift very high, but that's what's happening. Lifting, lifting, lifting. And if you're on this, you circle the wrist several times, then you go the other wrist. Keep breathing. Boy, those pinky fingers are challenging, aren't they? As you go one more time, and as you finish that second wrist, you put your hands down, you relax your feet, you part your knees, and we slowly move toward a child's pose. For those who can, fully bending the knees, hip to the heels, arms in, just stretching forward, kind of squirming around. For those who find this is a bit much for the knees, doing more of a puppy dog with the elbows and letting the head hang down in between. So you find your own child's pose, knowing this is available at any time during our practice. If you just feel like, yeah, I got to do child's pose, you do child's pose. Moving back up in preparation for a little bit later when we do the standing bow pose, if you need a little extra padding, bring that blanket or towel forward. If you don't have anything, you can take the edge of your mat and roll it over, and then you've kind of quadrupled it up. And we're going to open through the hip flexor. Usually we come to this from standing. So if I were on all fours, I come up on my knees, and it doesn't matter which leg, pick one of your feet and bring it forward. The forward beyond the knee, not under the knee, so scoot it out. As I shift forward, I am going over my kneecap. So I want to be a little careful as I begin to push the hips forward, lift up my chest. Hands can stay on your thigh. If you need any adjustment, need to go down, like get off that knee, come back up until you feel that this is not painful and you're not sitting directly above, that you do have a little bit of angle. Now you can stay here and breathe. You can go here with a little more work for the back and breathe. Or you can bring the arms up and perhaps even lift the head. These are all options that you get to choose from, and breathe. Bring the hands to the legs if they're not there already. Let the hands come down one to each side of your leg. Again, if you need to lift the back knee up and give it a little break. If you happen, as I do, to have blocks nearby, you could put your hands on blocks or down to the floor. Feel the heaviness of the back side. Check that the front knee has not pushed over your foot. Now, whichever knee is back, lean down on that hand, palm or knuckle. Shift over onto it. Be sure you anchor the shoulder. The knee that's in front, that arm is going to reach up as you turn the body to the bent knee. Watch the high hand as it reaches to the leg behind you, reaching back. Bringing the hand behind you onto the front bent knee, drawing in through your belly, slowly pushing back, taking that tension off your hip flexor, very slowly rising up and switching legs. So with enough padding, this should not bother anybody's knee, but this is the same done standing. So if you were in crescent pose, you would be pretty much doing the same thing. Foot beyond the knee, yes. Hand upon your thigh. Now right now your hips may be above that bent knee, so I want you to move a little bit forward. And this is fine to stay here. Some might want to reach the arms out. That puts a little bit of strengthening into your back. Some may want to lift the arms up, putting more extension in your back. And you could look up. Come back to your breath. Hands find their way to the thigh. Still my hip is forward as my body gently leans out, reaching for the floor, one hand to each side. Feel free to lift the back knee and reset it. Feel free to use blocks if they're nearby. Sometimes it's helpful. I'll keep my hands on the floor. Thank you very much. So the weight from your hips pressing down and the front knee above the ankle. So as we did on the other side, whichever leg is behind you, lean over onto that palm or knuckle, anchor the shoulder, release the arm on the front knee, the bent knee. As it rises up, bottom shoulder goes forward. High hand reaches back toward the foot on the floor. Release the hand to the mat. Slowly begin pulling the hips back, maybe moving your hands up onto your thigh. As you come up, we can stand up from here. Now, if you need to use your hands for support, yes. If you don't, no. Go ahead and stand yourself up and then clear the mat if you used any padding. Okay. You can face me, be it at the end of the mat or the side of the mat, because it doesn't matter. Stand with your feet a little wider than your hips and do a little figure 8. And just notice how your hips are feeling. And we go to some forward fold. So spin the heels out. I was standing with my toes slightly turned open. To keep the distance of my leg, I'm going to spin the heel out rather than turn my toe in. So I want a little more space. Push the heel out, push the heel out. Thumbs, swallow your back. Mula Bandha Uddiyana action. Lifting the heart either by using that little tip for those with back issues by pushing the hips forward, or leaving the hips still and lifting up your chest. So remember that tip of the pelvis forward can take some of the pressure off of the arching of the back if that doesn't suit you. Bring the heart forward, keeping those legs straight. The hands are going to slide, leave them above the knees. Now before you go any further, shift weight into your toes so you feel those heels almost coming up off the mat. Anchor the shoulder and let the heart lead forward. So maybe you're where you're going to end up. Maybe your hands slide over your knees to your shins or your ankles, or the hands come down onto the mat. Wherever you are, drop your head, lean into your toes and look behind you. Leave your hands wherever they are, bend the knees. Begin rolling yourself up by transferring the hands back above the knees, slowly attending to your blood pressure as the thumbs move back. Roll the shoulders, lift the heart once more. So we're beginning to play a bit with our blood pressure. Pay attention to how you feel. Exhale into your forward fold. You know where to go, maybe a little bit further this time. Bend the knees, begin transferring up. Hands above your thigh, check into your blood pressure as we go one more time into that back extension, lifting the heart, and into the forward fold. Breathe. Bend the knees and roll yourself back up. Use the hands on the thighs if necessary. Begin walking your feet together. So we're doing this practice on Veterans Day, and so in honor of veterans, we're doing warrior poses today. 1, 2, and 3. Remember, 3 is the standing balance pose. That will eventually lead us to the bow pose. So step to the end of the mat. Be the Tadasana that is the foundation of all of your poses. Chair pose, take a seat at the table, modified or full expression. As the arms lower, if not already forward, lean out. Let's take your left foot back and then wiggle it. So you're on the ball of the foot, wiggling your foot. Drop your left heel. Bring the hands onto your hips. Feel where your hips are as you stand up. The front knee is bent, the back leg is straight, the foot is on the ankle, and we are at Warrior 1. Chest and hips facing the end of the mat. Release the arms. Ground into the feet for all the stability you need. Rolling into that ankle on the pinky toe side. Arms reach in front. Breathe and engage your core. Arms raise above. Now keep the front knee bent, because when you turn toward the long end of the mat, that knee may want to come along. Leave it where it is right now, anchored. Turn your body to the long end of the mat. So it may mean you're not looking forward to your device, but you're looking to the side of your mat. Open your arms outward, shoulder height. Turn the palms down. Return your focus to the front, off of the front leg, down your front arm. Warrior 2. Keep your focus forward as both arms come up. Keep that knee still, turn the body back. So everything, your hip, your chest, your body is facing the front leg. Bring your arms down by your side as you lean forward, lift the back heel up. It's a little wobbly, I know. Moving to Warrior 3, step up, leave the back foot touching. As you begin to lift the back foot, flex it pointed toward the floor and lower your chest. For those who have no concerns reaching the arms forward, reach the arms forward. Step the back foot down, stand up in Tadasana. Breathe. So we'll do the other side. Stay where you are. I'm going to go over here. Chair pose. Again, find the chair pose that's suitable for you, using your options based on your knees, your hips, and your shoulders. Lower the arms to in front of the chest and lean slightly forward. Now stand on your left leg as the right leg goes back hip distance and slide, slide, slides, go long. Bring the hands to find your hips and drop the back heel. As I right myself, my spine into my pelvis, the back leg is straight, the front knee is bent. I feel that my hips are pointing the same direction as my chest. I release the arms. Warrior one. Float the arms in front. Float the arms above. So keep that front knee bent and solid. Don't let it wibble wobble side to side. Turn your body to the long side of your mat. Careful the knee didn't come, pull it back. Open the arms shoulder height. Turn the palms down. Relax the shoulders, energize. Turn and look off your left hand. Warrior two. Squeeze the back knee straight. Raise the arms above. Turn the body to the long end of the mat. Keep the arms up. Now turn the entire body, especially the right hip, back to warrior one. Commit to your lunge. Don't back out of it. As the arms drop by your side and you begin to lean forward, raise the back heel and pivot on the ball of your foot. Tap forward. Standing knee can be bent or straight. Squeeze through your bum, flex your foot, lift the feet and lower the chest. Consider reaching the arms forward or leaving the arms by your side. Chin up. Don't worry if you step out of it. Step the foot down. Return to mountain pose and breathe. So let's move through that series of our three warriors a bit more quickly. Chair pose. Lean forward, step back. Warrior one. Open the body, turn, split the arms, warrior two. Raise the arms, turn the body, warrior one. Arms by your side, back heel up, lean forward, warrior three. Stand like a mountain. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, lean forward, step your other foot back. Drop the heel, raise the arms, warrior one. Turn the body, looking forward, open the arms, warrior two. Raise the arms, return the body to warrior one. Lean forward, drop the arms, lift the back heel, step up, lift your leg, lower your chest, warrior three. Back to Tadasana for one more time. Chair pose, breathe in. Lean forward, step back, drop your heel, lift up. Open the body, turn the arms. Raise the arms, turn the body. Lower the arms, lift the heel, lift forward. Drop the foot, stand in mountain. Other side, last time. Chair pose. Lean forward, step back, drop heel, lift, warrior one. open, warrior two, back to warrior one, lower arms, lift heel, lean forward, step up, lift back leg, warrior three, stand in mountain, hands at heart, okay, let me give you some options as we're moving to the standing bow pose. If you have a wall or something that you can steady yourself on, that's okay, because I want you to get the form of it rather than struggling with hopping around. You can move eventually your hand off the wall. Now if you say, oh, is that the one where I grab my ankle, kick the foot back? I can't quite do that. Then you use a strap or a towel to extend your arm. So if you have a towel, you would take it around when we get to that point, your ankle, and then you have a bit of extra length to work with for your warrior three. For your standing bow pose. So it won't matter to me which leg you're working on. It is a balance pose. And a lot of people think it's just once they grab the foot, it's leaning forward. It's not leaning forward. It's the kicking of the bow, like bow and arrow, it's kicking into the bow that causes the slight tip of the body. So position yourself on 2 feet, with or without an arm extender. Now there's a couple ways to get here. I think the easiest is to bring the leg up that you want to grab. Same hand slides down to the ankle and you bring the heel to the bum. So you're almost in the dancer pose. But there is another way, and that's to quickly brush the foot back and catch it, because we want to avoid cramping. Now presently my palm is into my foot, but classically the palm turns open as if you're shaking hands, not turned this way. The shoulder is open, the palm is outward, and you go to the inside of the foot. So that's tradition. Now you can bend the standing knee, though most likely it would be straight. Here's the kicking action that I mentioned. As you kick the foot, you can reach the arm outward and balance inward into the bow pose. Keep kicking. Return back to your standing and let go of your foot. Breathe. Now if you feel that's working your back, it is. It's back extension, it's an arch. So if you feel the need, zip your zipper and notice that support you get right away. So even though you're in an arch, bandhas are still in action. Let's go to the other side. Wall, arm extender, root down onto that standing foot. Bring the other knee up, grab the foot, or if you're inclined to want to kick the foot and catch it. So I have the palm in and I'm holding the outside of my ankle. Remember, if I walk my hand around, pull my shoulder back, point my thumb up, the palm is inward to my foot, not downward. So open your chest, that's what's helping the bow. Kicking the foot into the hand, reaching the arm forward, that could be enough, or just keep kicking and breathing. Slowly return yourself back and let go and do whatever you need to do. Let's do that one more time. Maybe if you used an arm extender, you could try it without. So if you don't feel your shoulders are drawn back to help you reach into the foot, check your hand. Even at this time, I still notice people are doing this in hand grip. So if your shoulders are forward, remember it's the shoulder back, that kind of opens the palm. It should face away from you. All right, first side, get grounded. Bring your leg up or kick it back behind. You can hold the outside or do tradition. Release the arm. Kick and breathe. Bandhas. Standing up, letting go. Breathing. Other side. A little hold if you need it to help you get situated. Grab the foot. Place the hand as you wish. Extend the arm. Kick the foot when ready. Standing up, setting your foot down, and then just move a little hula, because it is good to strengthen our back, and go the other way. So a little work for the feet. You can face me, be it at the end or the side, whichever you're working on. So I'm lifting through the heel to the pads of each one of my toes. As I mentioned, we'd be working. Now my hands are going to mimic this action. So my arms will be in front. My wrist will flex as my heel comes up. From the side. So it's best to have your feet a little bit apart because we're going to move on to awkward. So hold one heel up, keep the knee bent. Lift the other heel up, flex your hands. Put the first heel down and the second heel down. Relax your shoulders. Keep moving with the same leg, starting the pattern. And breathe. And one more. Tadasana. Isn't it wonderful to come back to Tadasana to find out where maybe you were holding tension that you didn't need? Because that was part of strengthening the feet with balance. Now I'm going to vary it a little. So when the hands flex, when the heel comes up, when the heel comes down, I want you to point your fingers toward the floor. So before we were going up, up. Now we're going to go up and then down. So when your heel is up, your fingers are up, and when your heels are down, your fingers are down. All right, so I'm going to start with the left and the right, and the left and the right. Arms up, the hands go left, right, point down, point down. When the heels are up, your knees are bent, there might be a temptation to straighten your legs. Focus. And breathe. You're getting better. Relax your shoulders. Body is learning. 2 more. Last time. And Tadasana. Lovely. Okay, so let's come back down on the mat without using our hands. So that can be crossing your legs, kneeling, however you can get there, plopping. So bring yourself down to the mat and take a seat. And we want to face each other, so again, whatever works for you. Let's have your left foot out to the side. So you're going to go a little bit into the inner thigh on one leg at a time. Hands are behind, the chest comes up. Now if it helps to sit on something, you can bring that pillow or blanket in, and you're going to lean forward. Now inevitably you're going to feel the hip of the leg out to the side lift. I want you to try and keep it down as your chest goes forward. Can you put your hands in front? Maybe. Keep holding that hip down, and you should feel a slight pull on the inner thigh. We're going to sneak into our adductors. And bring yourself up, and we'll go on to the other side. There's several ways to get to these adductors. Other leg out, other leg in, hands go behind, sit up straight. Sometimes just sitting up straight initiates that gentle stretch, so if that's all you need, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, bring the chest forward, holding that hip down, finding your breath. Perhaps one leg a little more needy than the other, I don't know. Slowly bring up. Now go ahead and leave that leg out there and put the other leg out too. We know this as a straddle. For some people, not the most favorite. And your legs don't have to be that far apart, but you do want to reach in and move the fleshy part of the skin away so you have a better presence of your sit bones, the pelvic bones. Again, sitting on a blanket, a towel, a pillow can be helpful so that you can comfortably sit up instead of round over. So I would propose the hands go behind, the toes stay up, the knees are straight. So if just by sitting up straight with your hands behind you suits you, stay here. Otherwise, that hinging motion, not rounding forward, but leading with our heart. So I'm leading outward. Here's where I'm going to begin to dwell in my breath. For those who say, what about putting the hands in front? I say, sure, you can. From wherever you are, back yourself up. Engage through your bandhas, slide the hands under the knees, lean back a little, take the tension off gently. So we want to stretch that fascia and ligaments and tendons and muscles, but then you want to let them recoil gently. Okay, a little bit of energy making before we get down to the outer hip. So some of you know I've introduced this as the bear. It's quite popular these days, but we started doing it a long time ago. You get yourself back to the end of the mat, and this you will do for yourself. So you can be on your hands and your knees will be lifted so you're really on your toes. So with the flexion that we've done with the hands and the work that we've done with the toes, you simply travel up to the end of the mat and back, doing opposite arm and opposite leg. Therein, the core comes to work. So as I place my hands down and lift up my knees a bit, one hand, one knee on opposite, other hand of knee, and look how low my knees are to the floor. There's a temptation to just let those hands and knees or hands and feet slide down, but make it pretty balanced. When you reach the end, travel back, work on your balance, and work on your core. So see if you can hold the foot and the hand up before it falls down, and go up and back a few times, and then follow with child's pose whenever that happens. Okay, let's all get to child's pose if not there already, and digest the experience. As you're in that kind of cocoon, feeling your heartbeat, feeling your wrist, feeling your quads. Begin to slow that breath of which you have control. And then when you're ready, slide out onto your mat, onto your side. So I'm going to be elbow under my shoulder, knees bent toward the front edge of the mat. So if your device is up here, you can look, or you can move your mat, or maybe if you're on carpet, you can just go across your mat. So my feet, knees, hips are stacked, and rather than collapsing, I'm pulling up. Several things will happen. Choose the best option for you. I raise the high arm. I elevate my hips with my knees and shins down. This is a fair modification to bring strength into my shoulder. Consider lifting and extending the other leg. If you lifted the leg, stack it on top, lower the hips, push up on your hand, swing the legs around or roll to the other side, whichever makes the most sense for you. Knees up, elbow shoulder, stack feet, bandhas, reach. Elevate your hips so you're on your shins. Lower the hips, lower the hand, push up, go back to that first side for option 2. So if option 2 doesn't appeal to you, then you do option 1. Again, I'm on my forearm, anchored with shoulder above the elbow, and instead of my knees forward, my legs are out straight, feet flexed. I'm on the outside of the edge of my foot on the bottom leg. Top arm lifts. From the knees or from the feet, elevate your hips. Option to lift the leg. Lower your hips. If your legs are straight, bend them in so you can swing around on the other side. So if you do the bent knee, you can do this one. You can extend the leg or straighten the legs. Stack yourself up. Everybody reach with the high hand and lift up your hips. Option to lift your leg. High hand comes down, hips come down. We're going to go onto our backs. Bend your knees. And we're going to roll up and down our spine to a bridge pose. So can you feel your heels? Are your feet together? No? Feet are apart, can feel your heels? That's all you need. Reach your feet, address your bandhas. So articulating the spine, rolling up and rolling down. Starting from your low back, curl in through the belly button, slowly roll yourself to your shoulders, come down from the shoulders, through the middle, through the low back. So work with the breath. Feel the long inhalation rise and expand. Feel the long exhalation contract and sink. Now next time you're up, I want you to hold up because I'm going to add some optional arm patterns. So my hands are down when my hips are up. As my shoulders come down, my arms raise, pull in through the belly button, slowly lower the hips, let the arms go over, and not to let your back pop up. So keep the low back down. Depending on your range of motion, your hands may or may not touch the ground. What's more important is that the back didn't pop up. You laid it down, then you leave it there. Now, as you lift the tailbone, lift the arms, roll up the spine. Once you're up, the hands are down. Go ahead and play with this, getting the articulation of the spine while moving the arms. Careful that back doesn't pop up. Still facilitate the breath. And next time you get to that upward bridge pose, stay there. And without rolling down, just set your bum down, nice and easy. Walk your feet to where you feel the edges of your mat and begin to let your knees fall at your own cadence. One knee to one side. You can open your arms if that feels like it gives you a little more space or support. Feel free to hang out or stay on one side. So be a little curious about how this affects various parts of the body. The hips, the backs, all the way up the spine, the quads, the hip flexor, the feet. Give yourself one more and we'll end up with the feet back up. And walk your legs out until they're very straight. Pick up one knee, pull in your belly, lift up your head, your neck, your shoulders, move the head toward the knee. Grab behind the leg, be it at the hamstring or the calf, not the knee. Let that leg go up straight, kind of hang on it a bit. If your neck ever feels strained, you give it a little bit of support. Bend in the knee and let the head go down and the foot go down second. Other side, pull the knee in, pull yourself up, coming up as high as possible. Reaching the leg, wherever you hold, kind of hang on it so you get that leg to come up a wee bit closer. Bending in the knee, the head goes down, the foot goes down. Move one foot to the edge of the mat. Can you feel it? Take the other foot either alongside it or cross it over, depending on how that feels for your back. Bring the arms up. Take the hand that's moved over or is across. Now, grab the hand of the leg that's on the foot to the edge. So put your left leg out, grab it with your left hand. If your right leg is out to the edge, grab it with your right hand. Bring the arms overhead as far as shoulders allow, and then use the hand to pull on the wrist. So what you see above is a crescent. So your feet are moving out to the edge, and your shoulders are moving to that same edge. So you're opening one side of your body using your hand to pull the arm. I think I finally explained it properly. Release the pull on the hand, bring the arms up, leave them there, change the grip, and then change the legs. So that top leg goes over to its side of the mat, the other foot goes alongside it or can cross over it. As the arms go over, pull the other wrist. So now you're going the other way. And breathe. Releasing the arms, uncrossing the legs or bringing the knees up. Let the knees drop together to one side. Both arms reach up. Let the arms fall together to the opposite side. Bringing the arms back up, lifting your top knee first, your second knee second. Let the knees fall together the other way, and let the arms fall in opposition. Bring the arms up, the top leg and the bottom leg. So bring the hands onto your heart for a moment. We're going to move to Shavasana. And so if you need that blanket to go over you, under your head, under your knees, if you think maybe you'd like to lay on your side, if perhaps you'd like to lay on your belly, if you need any coverings for your feet because your room's a bit chilly as our temperature is beginning to drop down. If there's something that your body says, oh, I really need to do this, that, or the other, feel free to listen to your body and act on it. And then as you get yourself set up for that position that you will have for your Shavasana, we now begin to do nothing. An important part, as I always say, of a yoga practice, to be able to clear that mind so that we can sleep well, not be distracted with the monkey mind in things we may be doing in the course of a day. So this is your time to sort all that out. And for some of us, it's a challenge. and for others, it comes quite naturally. So this is your time to relax, to feel safe, unencumbered from a plethora of things. And as you are settled and relaxed, wait in this moment until I ring the singing bell, and let this time be yours. And there, my friends, is your signal to come on back. Hope you found that calm and quiet in that moment. And I've selected a saying from Buddha for us today. The secret of health for both mind and body is not to mourn for the past, not to worry about the future, or not to anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly. From moment to moment, our thoughts want to drift away from the present backwards to the past or forward to the future. The allure may be the rosy glow of nostalgia past or the bright promise of a better future. Or in darker moods, we may punish ourselves with memories of past mistakes or fears of unrealized troubles. What we lose when we focus on the past or the future is the reality of now, this moment. The only time we truly have, and we are very lucky to have it. So thought for us to remember, I will enjoy this moment just as it is. I will live in this moment just as it is. So with that said, come to a seated position. As always, address your bandhas, your breath. Try and hold softness through the neck and the shoulders. Try and carry your breath with you throughout the day as you open the arms and lift and join the palms. And as the hands move together, we always say Namaste. And as we recognize our veterans among us for stepping out of their routine lives to be of service, we acknowledge them with our practice of warriors today who stay the course and do what needs to be done. And with that said, I hope to see you next week. I hope this is a lovely week for you. Thank you for joining the practice. If you have any questions or comments, or maybe I will see you soon.